Hello, Wedgwood families. Welcome to Back to School Night. My name is Andrea Hughes, and I'm the reading specialist here at Wedgwood School. We are so happy to be back in school, back in our building with so many of your children, and learning with the others who are still with us remotely. We're just very happy to get things up and running again this school year. So back to school night looks a little bit different, like so many other things this year. But we are going to make the best of it and keep moving. So here we go. I thought I'd start out by telling you a little bit about myself. So I have two children. Lillian, who is in second grade, and Grace, who is in kindergarten. Your children will hear me talk a lot about my children this school year because so many of our family experiences are similar to what your children and your family are going through right now too. My children are learning from home this year. Their school district started out completely remotely, so they are learning from home right now too. And so our family is, like I said, going through many of the same things that yours is. I have two dogs, Hogan and Izzy. Your children will hear me tell lots of stories about my dogs this year as well. I went to East Stroudsburg University. I grew up in the Poconos and stayed close to home and went to East Stroudsburg. I also went to St. Joe's for my master's degree in reading and received a reading specialist certification. You see the number 20 there on the screen. Even though I look like I'm only 20 years old, 20 is not my age. 20 is actually the number of years I've been in education. So 2020 is my 20th year in education. I started out teaching in the school district of Philadelphia. I taught for a few years in Lindenwold. I spent several years at the New Jersey Department of Education in the Office of Literacy Education, and then I came to Washington Township. So I've been in Washington Township as a teacher for probably about 11 years now, and I've spent the last 8 years as the reading specialist at Wedgwood School. So I wanted to tell you to start off by talking a little bit about basic skills reading instruction and what that looks like. So basic skills reading instruction is really a way that we can provide targeted intervention to students who need more support to develop their reading skills than what they get in a classroom setting. And so basic skills is provided in small groups and sometimes in one-to-one situations with just the teacher and one other student. Basic skills is in addition to classroom-based instruction. So your child will get reading instruction from their classroom teacher, and then they'll get additional instruction through the basic skills services. And that will happen throughout most of the school year or until we catch your child up. And then they won't need that additional support anymore. And that's always our goal. Our goal is always to close the gap, to help your child build up their skills so that they're right there at meeting grade level expectations and don't need us anymore. So I always say my job is to put myself out of a job, although not really. So a little bit more about what we focus on in basic skills. And just so you know, when we talk about basic skills with kids, we don't call it basic skills. I refer to all of my groups as book club groups. And so if you hear your child talk about Mrs. Hughes's book club, that's what they mean. On their Schoology page, I call it book club. In pretty much every time I talk to kids about the work we're doing together, I refer to it as coming to my book club. So some of the things we focus on are recognizing high frequency words automatically. And so high frequency words are really just words that kids see over and over again in print. They come up with a high frequency in books that are designed for early readers, for kids who are just beginning to learn how to read. Lots of high frequency words don't follow the rules of phonics. So the letters don't make the sounds that we'd expect. We call them trick words sometimes, or rule breakers. And these are words that kids just need to memorize. Words like the, or my. Other words that are high frequency words are words like big. That is a word that's phonetically regular. It follows the rules of phonics. You could sound it out, okay? But big comes up so often in books that are designed for beginning readers that we don't want kids to have to sound it out every time they come across it in print. We want them to recognize it quickly, or like I say to kids, in a snap. You should look at that word and know it in a snap. Mr. Renzi and Mrs. Matera often talk about fact fluency when they're talking about memorizing math facts, and the same idea applies here. We want them to have fluency in reading their high frequency words quickly and automatically. We also focus on phonemic awareness skills. Some phonemic awareness skills are things like rhyming. That's a skill that's really crucial for beginning readers, to be able to recognize words that rhyme, that have that same ending sound, to be able to provide words that rhyme with a word that they're given. So if I say cat, your child should be able to provide a word that rhymes. But often that's a skill that's tricky for kids. And so we work on practicing with and identifying rhymes. Other phonemic awareness skills focus on manipulating sounds in words. So if I have the word cat and I change the k to b, what word do I have now? It would be bat. So building those skills is important for beginning reading. We also work on reinforcing phonics skills. So our classroom teachers in first and second grade are using the Foundations program for phonics and spelling. And so often in basic skills, we work on helping kids strengthen those phonics skills so that they are thinking about letters and sounds and using them to decode words when they're reading and to put them together to spell words when they're writing. We also focus on developing other decoding strategies, because sound it out is a great strategy and it works sometimes. But kids need to have other strategies in their pocket that they can pull out when sounding out a word isn't helping them. So we also work on developing several other decoding strategies. We work on reading fluency, and we also work on reading comprehension. And those are things that are very important because reading, I always tell kids, reading is more than just saying words correctly, right? Reading is thinking, and we want kids to be able to obviously look at a page and pronounce the words correctly, say the words correctly, but we need them to go farther than that. We need them to be able to understand and think about what they're reading so that they can gain meaning from it. So we also equally focus on developing reading comprehension. Lots of times parents ask me how they can help their child at home. And so just a few really quick, I know your home lives are busy. Mine is too. If you have multiple children, you're running in different directions to different activities and trying to fit everything in. And really, honestly, your child works hard every day at school. So doing things like just developing reading habits at home is super important. Reading to your child on a regular basis, whether it's just a story before bedtime, or maybe you're keeping books in the car, and while you're waiting around at soccer practice for an older sibling, you can read to your child then. But developing those reading habits is so super important. You can do things like play rhyming games with your child, and also practice reading high frequency words. And at the beginning of the year, we do some reading assessments. I've actually met with some of your children already to start some of those reading assessments. So a couple of the things that we look at early in the year is, do they recognize the high frequency words that were introduced in the prior grade level? So we'll take the list of kindergarten high frequency words or sight words that they learned in kindergarten, and we'll give them to the first grade students and see how many of them that they recognize and they remember. And that'll kind of tell us where we need to start. Same with second graders. We'll take that list of first grade high frequency words and we'll ask them to read the words and see how many they recognize and which ones we still need to work on practicing. So as we move forward, once we finish those assessments, the teachers and I will communicate with you which are the words that we're working on targeting to help your child continue to practice and recognize those automatically. And we'll also give you some suggestions of ways you can do that at home other than maybe just flashcards. So those are just a few things that you can do to help at home. I also strongly encourage you to check out the Margaret Hagan Library right in Washington Township. Library cards are free, and they have just a wonderful selection of children's books. And I know right now they are doing some online where you can kind of go and browse their library catalog online, pick out some books, and they'll bring them right out to your car and deliver them right to your car, so you don't even have to go into the library. So if that's not a resource that you've already made yourself familiar with, please, I encourage you to check out the Margaret Hagan Library. And if you need more information on the library or how to get a library card, I'd be happy to help you figure that out. So finally, I just want to wrap up tonight by saying, please don't ever hesitate to reach out and contact me. I am available to you for any questions you have, for concerns you have. If you just want to talk about how your child's doing, or, more things that you can reinforce at home. We really have to work as a team, especially this year, because our school year looks so different than a typical school year. So I really want to be a partner with you at home to help build your child's reading skills. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out and contact me. Email's probably the best way to make initial contact, but I'll often email you back and say, when's a good time we can talk, and pick up the phone and call you. So, you can reach out obviously by email. You can give me a call and leave me a voicemail message, or another great way is to send me a message on your child's Seesaw account. So I look forward to a great year here at Wedgwood School. I can't wait to work with your children this year. And I really just hope that we have a great school year working together.